And hello gamers, and welcome to our continued journey through the arcade games of Atari from the 1980s. Last time we played Red Baron. Now we're going to be playing Space Duo. Now there's an interesting story to this arcade game. Space Duo is a descendant of Asteroids. Now the reason why this was released, this was developed after Asteroids. And when Asteroids Deluxe failed to really sell as well as Atari wanted, they decided to pull this one off the shelf, and it had better success. Essentially, it's the only vector graphics based game Atari made that is multiplayer, has two-player option. It's their only two-player game with vector graphics. The only one they ever made. And it is partially based off of Space War. You can see definitely the Space War pedigree in the game. And you can definitely see the asteroids influence in it. The asteroids have been replaced with blocks and different objects and spinning pinwheels. You'll see when we get into the gameplay how somewhat similar it is. The controls were simple. You had buttons for turning left and right. You had a button for thrust, a button for shields, and a button to fire. And that's essentially all the controls you had for the game. So let's get into the gallery first. We'll take a look at some of the stuff that came with it. This would be some of the information that would have been sent out to arcades, would have probably come with the arcade game itself. You can see the part of the CRT screen here, part of the game listed. Can't really read the text on there, it's not very clear. They blurred out an old address here. The operations manual, this is the original operations manual. Looks like it is I would say this is 5-color print, which is what they would have had back in the day. This is a tabletop version of the game. I have never seen this game in arcades. Never played it in arcades, so I've never seen this one, and I've never seen the stand-up cabinet. So most of the ones that actually did pretty well had the tabletop versions. You usually see these in restaurants or bars, where you would see these tabletop versions of the arcade cabinets. In Coin Connection, this would have been a publication that would have been gone out to arcades, that would have advertised the new arcade games for the arcades to pick them up. There's what the arcade, the art on the side of the arcade would look like, and this is the actual cabinet. And here's more. Here, either this is from that pamphlet, or it's from the manual. This is probably from the pamphlet, basically explaining what the game's all about, how you play it, what you do. The gameplay is fairly simple. Destroy all the objects on the screen, and you go to the next level. And we're here at the cabinet. This is what it looked like, what the standard cabinet looked like. This is, I believe this may be a patch, or this is a standalone logo that may have been on the arcade machines. Not sure. It's not a very good image. Let me zoom in here. No, it's not a good image. They needed a higher resolution image. It almost looks like it's an iron-on patch. A Space Duel patch. I mean, sometimes they did sell patches for arcade games. So that might be it. It might be a sticker. And we're back to the first image. So let's get into the game. Let me grab my Steam controller. Let's take a look at what they set up here. Okay. And let's find the controls for Space Duo. Space Duo. Okay, so we got. Okay, fairly simple here. Y is shield, X is thrust, B is thrust, A is fire. They also put thrust on the throttle, the L1. They got L2 and R2. And they got the rotate left and right on the L1 and L2. And there's your standard pause and start everything for the game. You can also turn with the joystick. And you can turn with the D-pad as well. So basic controls. So let's go back and let's play the game. I went in to test the game out, try it out. So let's get in, do single player, and let us see how far I can get. Or the object of the game is to survive, to get all the objects destroyed, and some of these shoot at you. And you notice these pinwheels break up like the asteroids do. And then I can generate a shield. Whoa. And that came close. Got him. Ah! Did he just blow himself up? Where am I at? Oh, there I am. Alright. I actually got past that. Oh! I did not use the shield. Alright, come on. I do believe the shield is a throwback to Asteroids Deluxe. Oh! That little thing hit me. Alright, gotta keep my wits about me. Oh, I actually got a nice score on here. Alright, let's try again. One player. To use the shield. Come on. shots only go so far. Got him. Ooh, that destroys him. Oh, lots of stuff flying around. Let's see if I can actually make it. Oh. Don't know. Oh. I didn't hit the shield in time. At least I actually made it with some lives through here. Very much like Asteroid. Shields actually bump you. The objects actually bump into you and actually make you move with the shield. Okay, more. Oh, something shooting, something shooting. Oh! Oh! Ah! Arg. Okay, come on, my name again. Okay. There's a little demo of what it's like in multiplayer. Right. Now let's do this again. Oh. Let's see. One player. Right. There we go. Destroy. Blow them up. I'm actually losing momentum. I'm not, my ship was actually losing some forward momentum. There. Ah, died during the bonus round. Oh, didn't hit my shield in time. Alright, let's try it again. Got more lives still. See how far I can go. Oh, come on. I gotta stop being in one spot. Yep. Ah! I have not beat my high score. Alrighty then. No, I beat that last run. Oh, that's Space War. That is Space Duel. Atari's only vector graphics multiplayer game that they had out in the arcades and is a descendant of Asteroids. You definitely saw the Asteroids Deluxe influence. You saw the shield from Asteroids Deluxe in this, and it had some other ideas, some things that may have actually influenced games later on, like Geometry Wars in some ways, and definitely big inspiration to games like various games that are on the Atari 2600, for instance, that followed similar rules to this. Two ships fighting each other, trying to achieve high scores and various goals. I haven't played this particular mode. If I get into this mode, I couldn't. Let's see if we can get into that mode. Okay. Oh, there we go. Alright. We got two ships. We're linked together. This is where you can use the combined firepower of two ships. And two vessels. Maybe two vessels are better than one. I'm getting through this pretty quickly. Oh! I see how that tether effect works. That tether works like an actual tether. That is interesting. I've never seen a game that does that like that before. Oh, and that ship, my other ship was hit, I think. The other ship doesn't fire when it's pointing directly. When the one is pointed directly at... Oh. And only my ship, only the one-player ship, actually thrusts. Oh! I can lose one or the other. That's an interesting mechanic. The blast went up the tether. And the other ship can take damage. That is some mechanics I've never seen before. That is some mechanics with this I have never seen before. Whoa! Lost both. I didn't see that coming. Holy crap. Okay, move out. Ah, okay, if I lose the main ship, it goes down the tether and blows up the other one. Alright. Got him. Whoa, they're trying to kill me now. Oh. I beat my score. Alright, I beat my score. Well, that is Space Duo. Actually learned something new. This had some interesting mechanics in it that I didn't know that it had before. Because I played some of it before doing this recording to acclimate myself to actually how it's played, and that's how I got that first score going into this. Interesting game. I can see why this was more successful than... I can definitely see why this particular game was more successful than Asteroids Deluxe. Boy, this sold better than Asteroids Deluxe. I can easily see why. Now, on eBay, an actual working arcade version of this is going for well over $1,000. I don't know how rare this is. Again, as I said, these vector graphics arcade games are getting harder to find because the displays are special. They're not your standard CRTs that draw a line at a time. These are special displays that only draw the lines that they need to draw in whatever direction they need to draw them for the vectors. You can't do these kinds of graphics with a standard raster-based display, the kind of display that you would have for, like, say, Centipede. Games like Centipede or Pac-Man. You can't do these particular games with those displays. You need a vector graphics display like what you would have on an old style CAD machine or on a Vectrex system, which needed, again, a special display. Oh, and oscilloscopes have these special kinds of displays. Oh, this was an interesting look at another classic arcade game from the 1980s, one that I've never played before. I've never seen this one in all the arcades I've been to. I've been to several arcades. I was in the one at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, a large amusement park there. I've been in arcades in the Renaissance Center, downtown Detroit. That's where I played Galaga for the very first time. I've been to the Red Baron arcade during the 90s. And they mostly had 90s arcade machines. They had a few old classic ones from, the way back times, but not the really old ones like we're playing here. And the one in Fairlane Town Center, the big shopping mall near Ford headquarters in Dearborn. Well, I've been to arcades there, and I've never seen this. I've seen Star Trek arcade. I have seen, there's one other one, it's another vector graphics game that we'll be playing later on in here. So let's take a look at what the next game in the sequence is going to. Okay, I need to get out of this, reset, and go to the main menu. And Sprint. I've actually played this, and there is an Atari 2600 version of this game. Sprint 2, actually. So, gamers, thank you for joining me on this adventure as we continue through the classic Atari arcade games of the 1980s. The 1980s were an interesting time, an era of MTV, music videos, an era where music changed. I grew up remembering watching You know, Captain and Tennille on television, live. I remember Sonny and Cher. I remember all the variety shows that used to be on during the 1970s. Because they used to have these variety shows where they would have artists come on and playing music all the time. And you know, they tried reviving that a little bit in the 80s with shows like Solid Gold. They tried to revive that a little bit with Dionne Warwick. You remember that? Some of you? And so it was 80s was an interesting time. You had the Atari 2600, ColecoVision, and Intellivision game consoles. You had early computers like the Apple IIe, Commodore 64, some of Atari's computer systems, the Atari 800 system, the Sinclair 2000, the Texas Instruments TI-99-4A, I believe. God, it's been a while. And all the other stuff that's from back then. It was an interesting time. It was a very different era. Politics were very different. It wasn't as insane as it is today. I mean, it was pretty simple back then. It was a completely different era. Completely different. But again, thank you for joining me in this journey. We will be back next time to play Sprint 2. So, if you liked this video, give us a like. If you have any interesting experiences in arcades, no matter what era, 80s, 90s, the current era, there are some arcades out there still today. You know, if you've had any interesting experience, what are your favorite arcade games to play? What games did you like playing while growing up? Let us know in the comments below. Also, remember that we have the Gamers Bay community in Google+. So come on over, join us, and let's get into the discussion thread for this video, which will be posted there just as soon as this video goes live. And Gamers Bay was based off of retro games like this. The whole community was built specifically for the retro gaming community in mind. So we have an older membership, so you don't have as many little kids and screaming, whining little brats. You know, not saying that the kids are brats, but you know the kind of kids I'm talking about. I mean, if you've ever played Call of Duty, you know what kinds of kids I'm talking about. Wink, wink. So, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you guys next time.